Hi, I'm Chase Naylor, a Year 12 prefect and boarding student at SCOTS PGC College. Welcome to the 4th episode of The Lion and the Thistle. In this episode of The Lion and the Thistle, we look at the profound effects that World War II had with the SCOTS College during the war years, and with the post-war expansion of the school. 1939 marked a new era of leadership of the school with the appointment of Mr. John Angus Dunning, as Australia was coming out of a period of severe economic depression and into an era of international conflict during World War II. At the time when the school was experiencing much disruption with the war, it was still growing, with enrolments increasing from 80 to 200 students between 1939 to 1941. The increase in size would also see the construction of De Conley House in honour of co-founder B.T. De Conley, which opened on the 17th of June 1939, marking its 21st birthday celebrations of the SCOTS College.
As we reflected on our lives at Scots and subsequently, we all agreed that one of the great things that came out of our education was the influence of teachers. In my particular case, I started school in 1941. I had 1 year and 1 term at Scots in Warwick. Easter 1942, the junior school was evacuated to Kingswood on the outskirts of Warwick, to a property that originally was part of the Canning Downs aggregate. The following year, 1943, I went to Tilborough for 1 year, and then in 1944 the school returned to the Scots campus after the Army gradually evacuated the campus over the full year of 1944. So in that period I was exposed to a number of teachers, and especially during war years when most of the teachers were either older men, very young graduates from Teachers Training College, or ladies who had come out of retirement to teach. But the two men that I want to, at this late stage, recognise in my life: Ray Teskey, who was in charge of the junior school when I went in 1941 and at Kingswood; John Dunning, who was the overall principal. John Dunning, from memory, joined Scots in 1939 or 40, and he left at the same time as our year of 1948 left. Subsequent to that, he went to Prince Alfred College in Adelaide and had a distinguished career amongst the headmasters of this country and led the headmasters conference for many years. He was a New Zealander and a great immigrant to Australia. Besides being a Rhodes Scholar, he was also a member of the New Zealand cricket team that went to England in 1939 and didn't play a match. War was declared and they got back on the boat and sailed back to New Zealand. But having a test cricketer as a cricket coach was a great advantage. When the school were advised that one of their past students had been killed or severely injured in action, the headmaster, Mr. Dunning, at the morning assembly would make an announcement that whoever it was had been killed in action, and he would then give a short story about what that particular boy had done at SCOTS. He also, on the same occasions, he recognised any decorations, and strangely enough, the majority of the SCOTS past students who entered the armed forces joined the Air Force. And I think that if you look at the 42 who were killed, by far the majority of those were in the Air Force. What would today's society and academia look for in examining the curriculum vitae of a junior schoolmaster in charge of a junior school? I detailed some of his duties. With the help of an untrained junior female assistant, he provided all the teaching services for 25 boys aged 5 to 12 years, over 8 different grades. He was responsible for and physically assisted all boys to rise from bed at 6:45 a.m, partake of some sort of ablution, cold water in those days, there was no such thing as hot water. They got dressed, he helped them get dressed, conducted some physical drill, and ensured that breakfast was awaiting them at 7:45 a.m. Classes concluded at 3:30 p.m, and he then personally supervised, coached, trained and comforted those 25 boys for 2 hours before dinner at night. Nextly, he prepared them for their evening meal, supervised that meal, tried to teach 25 boys the ethics of table manners, etc. He then supervised an evening study period and then to bed for the whole school before 8 p.m. Between 8 p.m. and bedtime, he organised the duties of the assistant teacher, the matron, the housekeeper, the cook, the one maid, the one part-time handyman, to prepare all their work for the following day. Ray Teskey did all of this. He was a young, single man, and he not only successfully fulfilled all these duties, but left an indelible mark on the majority of boys who passed through the junior school in those years. Maybe it's belated, but on behalf of those 25 boys who were enrolled in 1942, I would like to record a tribute to Ray Teskey, that period of our lives over which he had so much influence. That debt of gratitude has surely grown with compound interest over the past 50 years. Stop. On one occasion when we met with the Year 12 students at school, we had a few words of wisdom pass on to them, and I'd like just to record what we said to the Year 12 students on that occasion. Because teenagers tend to already know more about life than their parents, we offer you just one simple statement. Our average age is 78 years, so we are offering you the filtered wisdom of 780 years of life experience. So our advice is this: your successes in life will be measured not so much by the accumulation of physical possessions, but rather by the measure of what you have done with the talents that God has given you. This is reflected in the whole range of things that you have given to others, including friendship and love. It is reflected in the extent in which you have acquired a healthy esteem, physical and moral health, and an unshakable faith in something. To you today, this might sound like academic bulldust. It is, however, a challenge to respond to the opportunity that SCOTS PGC offers you today.